Okay, sorry for
Thank
that
you, Matt.
delay. We are live, we are recording, and I just need to check one more thing. Please hold. Okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to call up the number right now for a free conference caller, and we're going to make sure right now that that is going. So you're going to hear a dial tone like this. And I'm just waiting for the phone to connect. Give it just another second, please. I'm sorry for everybody at home listening to this wonderful thing going on. And oh, I know why. Roy, please go. You're up and running, and I will get free
Okay, thank
conference
you, Matt.
caller up right now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and welcome to the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for January 10th, 2023. Got to get used to saying that. Before we go into our public hearings for the evening, this board's going to take move into executive session. So we're going to go into a brief executive session to discuss a legal matter. So I'll make a motion to enter executive session to discuss a legal matter.
I'll second it.
Concur.
Thank you. Just wait here. We're going to leave the room and then we'll be back.
Okay, we are back up. Go for it.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll second it.
Concur.
Thank you. Okay, we will, thank you for waiting, everybody. We'll now go start our public hearings. First one, I'll read into the record is Chris Robbins at 257 Fairview Avenue in Montauk, Suffolk, tax map number 300-19-7-44.19. The size and location is 18,089.94 square feet at 257 Fairview Avenue in Montauk Beach Development Corp. Map number 1017 in Montauk. The description is to construct a 720 square foot swimming pool, 160 square foot pool patio, 20 square foot of pool equipment, and to relocate and upgrade a sanitary system within 150 feet of freshwater wetlands. Relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420 of the East Hampton Town Code and any other relief necessary. The zoning district is B residence, Zone X flood zone, and the secret class is type 2. And we're going to get a report from
Me.
Terry, and then we'll get to you.
Howard?
Yes.
We also have a valid AOS on this.
What?
We have a valid affidavit
Oh,
of service.
okay. You want to know that, Chair?
What's that? Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Skip me over. it's
Council, do we
fine.
have the proper affidavit of service and posting?
We do. Yes, I'll take those.
We all
thank you.
forgot, except you. All right, so this is, I'm standing toward the left side of the property here, and it's the driveway of the home, and then I'm gonna go down, and there was a UPS delivery, so I delayed getting the photo of the posting. Next, Tyler. That's one posting that was on the gate, and the next one shows another posting that was put on the pole where it was more visible from the street. Next, and it's just a shot of the front of the house, and I'm going to go around to the right and then to the back. So now I'm toward, okay, now I'm kind of in the, okay, Tyler, what corner? I'm on the southwest
West.
corner of the, it's okay, I know it's a little angled, okay. And then I'm going to walk toward the back, which is toward the north. And you see the area, actually, I took a shot. There's two beautiful holly trees right there on the right side that does not look like will be impacted in anything on this project, and we expect it not to be. And then on the left corner, go to the next one. It's a little bit better. This is a shot of the spa that you see there listed on the survey that's put in. And next, I'm standing in the area where it shows a proposed, basically a proposed pool dry well. And then the pool is going to be, go to the next one. I'll be standing roughly in the area. Not yet, though. Now this is a shot to show the neighbor through to the north of the property. Next. Now this is a shot. I'm standing roughly where the pool is slated to begin on the property, and we'll be going up toward the northeast, and continue. Now I'm basically facing the house, but from the location roughly on the, where the proposed pool will be ending. And then there's the patio that will extend out 10 feet from there toward the east. Yeah. And roughly it's in this area. Next. Now there are structures on this property that are not shown on the survey, which need to be addressed by the applicant. This, what looks like it's going to be perhaps a sauna. There's benches inside there. And then on the left there where you see that double door, that's an outdoor shower, which if you saw in the TAM, was originally on a survey, and then on this survey is not included on it. And basically some of that looks like it's in the area where the pool equipment and the septic system is going to go. Next. And it's a trampoline that they also have in roughly in the area where some of the work is proposed to go. And next, then it's a shot from the back of the property, just looking toward the house, so you can see the expanse left to right of where the pool is proposed to go. And next, a closer shot of the pool and the slate, blue stone patio in front of it. And next, this is a shot of the driveway as I was leaving. There's a gate on both sides of the house and exited from there. And there's one or two more shots. And actually, this shows that the water from the leaders and gutters on the roof are being directed out here to outside the property. And that needs to be addressed also. Next, and it's just a shot of the neighbor's house directly across the street from the applicant. And I believe that's the last one. Right? Yeah. Okay. Can we just confirm the survey date? Was it
I'm not sure I have the most recent one, but the one I have
I
here
wanted to check.
is dated May 19,
Of
2000. Wait a minute now. 5/21/22,
yeah, that's the one I have. That is the latest.
as far as I know.
Okay.
I don't think there's been any other survey since that date. By the way, I'm not Chris, the owner.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not the applicant.
Okay.
Okay,
Tell us who
would
you
you,
are.
I'm here on behalf of the applicant.
would you announce yourself and where
Yeah,
your
my name
address?
is Edward Batchelor. I live in 7 Jagger Lane, West Hampton, New York.
Okay. Are you an attorney?
No,
You raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Okay. Proceed. You can proceed.
Okay, so to be honest, well, I wasn't aware of the outdoor shower or that looks like a sauna in construction. It's not here on this. I think that's subsequent to this survey. Applicant simply wants to install a pool. There are patches of wetlands to the northwest and the northeast and the north. I believe they're sufficiently distant from the proposed work. I believe that right now the existing lot clearing, the existing clearing is under the limit. It's at 78.1%, 1.5%. The allowable clearing is 14,522. We're at 14,140 square feet. The client is also planning to abandon the existing septic system and put in a IA system, like nitrogen reducing system on the property. Other than that, I don't know if there are any real issues.
Well, you're here for a natural resources special permit.
I'm sorry,
It's here for a natural resources special permit.
I
Can
understand
you
that. I don't
address
know
how the environment will be improved as a result of this project if it's approved?
how the owner's property would be improved.
The environment, how,
Well, it's not impacting the environment because it's out of the wetlands. It's away from the wetlands sufficiently.
not sufficient to not require an NRSP, though.
Well, I'm not exactly 100% sure, honestly, why this is requiring a hearing such as this. It seems like a fairly routine plan, given that there are wetlands, you know, in the area, but it's shown here from the flagging that their equipment, the pool and the equipment and the fence are sufficient distance from the wetlands. And the other odd thing about this project is the property itself is an odd shape. It has this weird kind of 39-foot jog, 39-foot backyard, and then it comes down and then goes over to the east. So that was not a created situation. That was an existing situation, but the applicant is complying with the setbacks and everything else, and and the lot coverage and everything else is in compliance.
There is on the TAM, on the technical analysis memo, the planning department brings up a discrepancy in two surveys.
I know, yes, I'm aware of
So
that.
can you address that?
Well,
Because it's their belief that there is an overclearing and it hasn't been revegetated at this point. So you want to address that?
I can't speak for the surveyor. The surveyor is bound by New York State education law to provide accurate, description of the property. I do remember that there was that issue and it was resolved. I don't know if the surveyor made a mistake. That's possible. And then he revisited the property and recalibrated everything. I don't believe there's any other motive behind that, except that, he corrected the problem and he stamped it and he stands by it.
Stands by which survey? This one? Just in front of us?
I think this survey shows that the existing clearing is under the maximum amount of clearing allowed. It's close, but it's under. 14,522 square feet is allowed. They're showing 14,140 square feet of actual clearing.
Is there any offer to revegetate any property? Oh, I don't know.
If that's recommended, I'm sure the client would be, the applicant would be happy.
Well,
to do
they
so.
are offering up a sanitary system.
Sanitary system, but this whole survey is useless.
The two structures that were brought up tonight.
Yes,
Can you address those?
I don't know. I didn't know that. I don't know anything about those. I'm
Well, it's
just-
clear from the one that it's actually on the property line, probably a couple of violations on the property line
Yeah,
and also exceeds the pyramid. There's
understood.
a pyramid
Yeah,
violation.
this is news to
I
me.
don't, all right, so I don't know how to handle that at this
Well,
point
I
because
I think
that's,
the client would be willing to remove the structures, the outdoor shower, or apply for, well, certainly, I think that the sauna would have to be removed because to make that in compliance, I don't believe another variance would be, worth the trouble.
Well,
I-
is
I'll
there a
speak to the
conforming
client. I'm
location?
sorry?
Is there a conforming location that they want to place the sauna?
Well, I'd have
well,
to.
that's not
The
noticed.
side- We're
Well,
not even talking about the sauna.
Yeah.
Well,
It's an
It's
illegal
too close to the
structure
property
that's
line, that's
there.
obvious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
and we don't
This
have
is-
a plan for an IA system.
Yeah.
And where's that gonna go?
well, they would have
Well,
to, that would be a
IA system
modification.
is going basically in the location where the existing septic system is. And I believe there is an engineered plan for all that. That natural resources should have.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a OWTS.
Maybe we should hear from Tyler.
Yeah, let's hear from Tyler.
All right, thank you. We're going to hear from the planning department.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
so
You'll have a chance to come back up.
tonight,
Yeah,
okay,
for now.
thank you.
Good evening. Tyler
How are you,
Borsak, from
Tyler?
the Planning Department. How are you?
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So the applicant is currently proposing a swimming pool, patio, pool equipment, fencing, and to relocate and upgrade sanitary system. There is no proposed grading associated with the swimming pool or the patio. And it appears that the applicant is upgrading the sanitary system out of necessity as the existing sanitary system is located in the area of the proposed swimming pool. You can sort of see where the proposed sanitary system is on the, west side of the lot along the property line there. The existing sanitary is in the middle of where the proposed swimming pool is. So obviously they have to upgrade at that point. There appears to be some discrepancy with the clearing calculations on the property, as well as the clearing lines shown on the submitted survey. The clearing lines appear to have changed between surveys with no revegetation having taken place, at least from what the planning department saw. And the applicant should address those changes in the clearing lines on the currently submitted survey. It also appears that the incorrect maximum allowable clearing calculation was utilized by the surveyor. The property, a property having less than 20,000 square feet of lot area would have a clearing calculation of 75% of the lot area, which for this property would be approximately 13,567 square feet, not the 14,522 square feet, which is calculated on the survey. However, the property did receive a certificate of occupancy back in 2017, which showed an existing clearing of 14,500 square feet. So that's likely the number that would be utilized as a grandfathered maximum clearing calculation either way. That being said, the applicant should clarify the discrepancy between the clearing lines and either submit a revegetation plan if that's what the intention is, or have the correct clearing line shown on the survey. The sanitary plans that were submitted, and I'll bring that up, show a more appropriate clearing line. So the clearing line on here is sort of back here. That trampoline that you saw is right in the back corner. So obviously it's cleared all the way up to there. So this is the sanitary plan, and you can see a more realistic clearing line here, which even matches up with the aerial image. Let me pull that up as well. Here's the aerial of the property. You can see the clearing line is probably something like this, right? It sort of skirts the property line, which sort of matches up with here. So this clearing line of here, and then vegetation down here doesn't seem to match up with what's really on the property. That's what the confusion I think was, as far as the discrepancy between the surveys. The proposed swimming pool is located in an area on the property which does not require variances. The applicant should clarify whether the patio is still proposed, as it's located on the survey but not on the sanitary plan. I assume that it's still proposed, as the sanitary plan is not the end all be all for what the proposals are, but there's a discrepancy between those as well. The sanitary plan submitted contains an IA system, as is required, whereas the survey appears to show just a conventional system with just a standard tank and then leaching pools. But the sanitary plans themselves do show the IA system. So again, that's another discrepancy that should probably be fixed prior to making a determination on it, to show that the IA system is on the survey. So there's no need for a modification in the future, or so no issues come up in the future. There are 5 wetlands associated with the subject property. All the wetlands are greater than 100 feet from the proposed structures. However, the wetlands within jurisdiction are part of a complex drainage system that influences other wetlands in the area. These wetlands are connected to an extensive wetland complex that drains into the southern portion of Lake Montauk. The soils underlying the site have been identified as having a high seasonal water table or slow permeability, contributing to the poor drainage in the area. These wetlands provide all the benefits typically associated with high-quality wetlands, especially the attenuation of floodwater prior to recharge into the groundwater and eventually into Lake Montauk. As far as the outdoor shower and that accessory structure, certainly the accessory structure is right on the property line, which would be a significant variance, both pyramid and side yard setbacks. The outdoor shower, it seems like it's been there. I believe it's on the last CO as well. And it was on a prior survey that was submitted to the board and then was removed in the most recent one. So we weren't sure if it was being removed in order to install the sanitary system, if it was just left off. But again, that's another discrepancy that should be addressed prior to making determination if it's going to remain, if it's going to be removed, or what the proposal is for that. And certainly for the accessory structure, there are other locations on the property, both outside of front and side yard setbacks, and that would be out of jurisdiction entirely from wetlands. So certainly there are better locations for that. Other than that, I can answer any questions you might have.
I want to go back to the septic system. So we have various surveys and we have the plan for the septic itself. Nowhere do I see the actual location of the system. I mean, we have a system that you're saying is incorrectly put on here. It's not an IA system. And is this going to go directly north then of the pool?
So the existing system as it is today is located here. I don't know how well you can see it on there. It's in dashed
Yeah,
lines.
the dash.
This over here is the proposed system. This is the sanitary plan itself. You can see the IA tank and the proposed leaching structures.
Is that an IA system on that system?
This is an IA system here. Yeah.
Oh, but it hasn't been updated to the
It hasn't
survey.
been updated on the survey.
Okay, thank you.
So this is the location. This is the proposed system. It's just not showing as an IA. It's showing it as a standard tank.
But an IA system is going to fit in that space because that space is somewhat.
Correct. They're
limited.
essentially just swapping out the tank for the IA,
Correct.
system itself. And the leaching structures are remaining. They're
So
not changing.
it will meet all the distance requirements from the pool and,
Yeah, if this,
Correct. They're showing a 20-foot separation between the pool.
okay, I
right
can't see
there.
that, but okay.
I can zoom in. It's easier.
You have to zoom in a lot.
So
Any
they're
other-
showing their 20-foot minimum separation. It meets all the standard, criteria. It's just not shown on the survey in the same way as it's shown on the plans.
okay, anyway, cool questions with Tyler,
No, it'd be nice to
Right.
have a survey that had everything.
Okay, are there any other recommendations in terms of, there's a lot of grass there, as you saw.
Certainly, revegetation wouldn't be out of the ordinary for the board. It's, they're proposing additional structures within jurisdiction. They do meet fairly good setbacks. They're still within jurisdiction though. So even if they used this line as a revegetation area, I think that would be an appropriate amount of vegetation back there.
Does that trampoline count as a structure?
Mm-mm.
I'm not certain how the building department would view something like, it's temporary. I mean, it's easily
No, it's a
movable.
temporary structure, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
You can come up.
Public?
Oh, yeah, is there any comments on the public? Matt, any callers?
0 callers. Thank you.
So I think from my perspective, there seems to be enough discrepancies with this application. I would think that you would, as an applicant, might have a couple of options. You can allow this to go forward to a decision with the zoning board, or maybe you want to rethink and clean up some of the discrepancies, especially the structures in light of this evening. Come back with us with an actual accurate survey. But that would require another application. So it's your decision what you want to do.
Well, it's my client's decision. So this essentially be, if we want to clean up these so-called discrepancies.
Well, you got the clearing issue is
understand.
clearly an issue.
We would, this would be a new application to the zoning
Correct.
board.
Yep.
But I have a feeling that if we stuck with what we have here, it's not going to make it.
I'm not going to speak for the rest of the board, but I would say there's a high likely of that happening.
I'm hearing a good vibe here.
Application.
Why can't we just give them an?
All right,
extension?
so-
Yeah, they give them an
Um,
extension.
Can what, council, maybe I ask your advice on this.
Can we-
Yeah, I
Can we allow
think,
them to have an extension to get this in?
yeah, I think you can allow him time to resubmit a corrected survey and to write a memo about clearing up the items that you wanted to do or something along those lines.
That's fair enough.
Okay.
Well, will you be detailing the issues that need to be resolved, or do we just,
No, I think you have enough tonight to
Yeah,
go
no, I
on.
agree.
So, I mean,
just,
You can
again, I
always
think
re-listen
the-
to these as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand the survey needs to show the IA system.
there
on
was an
it.
issue with the clearing calculations too, right, Tyler?
Yeah, it seems the surveyor used the incorrect calculations and the line appears to be off as well. From what I could tell. And Eleni had visited the property herself.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay, so we need the surveyor to revisit the property.
I think so.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, clean up the
Especially
whole
with those
survey.
Yeah,
and-
no, I understand.
Yeah.
And a narrative to explain what's going on with the accessory structures.
Well, the accessory structure, from what I see here with the septic system, even has to go. Is there
No, I
septic?
meant the shower and
The
the,
shower and the, well, yeah, I mean, that's there.
Well, when I look at this particular survey that I have here, it looks like
No, the
the
shower's not
pool
on it.
equipment is planned to be located about where that shower is,
Mhm.
so.
That's what it
I
looks
will discuss this with the client. I'm sure that he will not have a problem with removing that structure that looks like a sauna. The shower, I don't know what's, that was
Well, the
there.
shower will need to be on the survey.
Yes, I understand.
If there's no, if he apparently, is there a previous survey, Tyler, or you said it was part of a previous C of O. I don't know if it's in that location or not.
I think the ownership here is only,
This is an
5
older
years, 7
survey we
years,
have,
right?
but
They
it
But
bought
that
this.
building, if it's in compliance with setbacks, Tyler, they can address this with the building department, I would think. The shower location.
The outdoor shower?
Oh, no, that would be an NRSP.
The outdoor shower might be out of.
It might be
jurisdiction.
out of jurisdiction. It's 150
It
feet.
could be out of jurisdiction, and it may have existed.
You gotta say, if this property changed hands only 7 years ago,
Yeah,
that pre-exists on an earlier survey. We should know that.
Yeah, this is the CO survey. It's not on there.
No.
And in 2017, you would expect it to be on the CO,
Mm-hmm.
the survey back then. It wasn't that long ago, you know.
It's not on that either. Okay.
so it is or isn't on the survey. I mean, on the
It's-
CO.
It's not on the CO. This is the CO right now.
It's not on the CO.
No.
Okay.
You know how much time you're going to need?
Let's see, I look into the crystal ball of the surveyor's office.
Yeah.
How much time can we have?
But we can set a time, and if you make sure, if you know you're not going to meet that time, you can in writing request more time.
Yes.
So I don't know, do you
So
need
I
60
think
days?
1 month would be
1 month, 30 days?
necessary.
Okay. But
That
no,
would
if
be-
you don't get, if that time elapses, the record will be deemed closed after that 30 days.
Yeah,
So if you don't have your information in, you would want to get a letter in.
I think the
requesting.
client's very motivated to get this resolved.
Okay.
So
Surveyor may not.
30 days is what date?
February 10th, yes,
Approximately.
Laura? 29.
Feb 9.
9.
Okay.
February 9th.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time
Thank you.
and your
Okay.
attention. Thank you.
Then for
Thank
the
you.
matter of Chris Robbins at 257 Fairview Avenue, Montauk, tax map 300-019-07-44.19. Make a motion to close the public hearing, leave the written record open until February 9th for the applicant to submit updated information.
I'll second it.
I concur too as well. Thank you. All right.
Here, his first name is Krishna Sharma.
All right, next we have Krishna Sharma at 39 Benson Drive in Montauk, Suffolk tax map number 300-30-1-10. And the size and location is 9,150 square feet at 39 Benson Drive, Oceanside at Montauk, lot number 154, and PO lot 153, map number 2730 in Montauk. The description is to construct 511 square feet of first and second story additions, an outdoor shower, make interior alterations to the existing residence. Construct a new roof, install new windows and doors, new driveway, and upgrade the existing sanitary system on a parcel of land within jurisdiction and setbacks of freshwater wetlands. The relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420 of the East Hampton Town Code. And 3 variances are required for this application. Variances of 43.9 feet, 35.7 feet, and 48.7 feet are required from 255-430 of the Town Code to construct additions, 56.1 feet, outdoor shower for 64.3 feet, and new roof line 51.3 feet from freshwater wetlands where 100 feet water setbacks are required and any other relief necessary. The zoning district is B residence, Zone X flood zone, and the secret class is type 2. Council, do we have a proper affidavit of service and posting?
Yes, pursuant to the East Hampton Town Code, section 255-9-23, we do have both service of certified mailings and postings dated December 29th, 2022, 10 days prior to today's hearing.
Thank you, and I believe Vice Chair Johan will be giving the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a first photo show the property is properly posted. Thanks. Here I'm looking to the east. Flag Avenue is there. We see a signpost on the corner, gives you an idea of the location. This is down in the Ditch Plain area where we have had many applications, so some of this will be familiar. Next. Now I've turned and looked the other way. I'm looking west. And again, you get a feeling for Benson Drive, which runs quite a ways through, but Ditch Plains. Next. I just wanted to take a picture of this. This is a parcel that came in front of us not too long ago, and we made an approval, and there's some work now going on to present the property for potential purchase. And I have a couple of photos giving you an idea of what's going on at a slightly lower elevation from the property in discussion. Next. Now I've just turned from that same spot and taken a look. People familiar with Montauk will recognize this as a classic leisure-rama. And you see the detached shed, which we'll get another view of. These are one-story shallow pitched roofs, structures. Next. I've gone to the driveway, which is, in somewhat disrepair, and I'm looking straight on at the house now. Next. I've walked up alongside the house. There's going to be some conversation about concreted areas here and additions that are going to go on, the proposed additions. If I look at that door opens up almost directly into the kitchen. The discussion of extending the kitchen out would be to head it in an easterly direction and would be towards the back of what we're looking at as this side elevation of the house. Next. I just wanted to take a picture of from here to give you an idea. We're going to be discussing a second floor, and we have drawings that show us the elevations. That second floor would be being constructed towards the back of the house. So this shallow pitch in front would give way to a vertical structure in the back, second floor as proposed, which we are behind that ridge line. Next. Just a picture of this is a classic leisure-rama shed that were put on the outside. Occasionally they were carports. Here's a freestanding storage shed. Next. This is the house immediately to the east. There's going to be a couple of photos of it. It's the one that would be most impacted as a resident by any construction that might happen here. Next. I've just gone to the other side of the property towards the rear of the house and pointed in. Again, this is a parcel we had approvals on, but there's a letter from the owner of this lot where he's concerned about his elevation. Obviously, this lot is not yet cleared. And although we did approve it earlier, we don't have a structure here to relate to. Next. Now I've gone back again to the east side of the property. That's the house that immediately to the east that has this interesting deck up onto the roof. Next. Now I'm turned my way to the back corner of the house, and I'm looking. You can see the door right on the edge of the photo that was into the kitchen. I worked my way towards the rear, and now we've got a back corner, and I'm looking across the back of the building. That second floor would be built up over the back portion of the building right in this area. Next. Then I turn from there and I look straight back towards the undeveloped area. This is about as far back as is cleared. There'll be a discussion about possible revegetation. That grassy area extends just about to, not exactly to, but just about to the property line at the back of the house. Next. This is just coming around the house. There's this little indentation around the back where two bedrooms, take off from there. Again, just for orientation, when we talk about the second floor, it would be off of this back corner and straight up. Next. This is just to get a view of it. This is there's a couple, you'll see on the survey, a couple of gas tanks. This is where they're located. We're now looking at the west side of the house. Next. Looking from exactly there, turning over towards this undeveloped lot. Next. Just another photo of the front of the house. Wasn't necessary. Next. Now I'm looking back when I'm standing alongside the house in an area where the kitchen's to be proposed to move out. If I look at that large maple, directly behind that large maple, there's standing water, which you'll see in a photo coming up. So the wetlands that they're in discussion here are in that area. Next. As you can see, I've worked my way right to just alongside them, adjacent to that large maple, and you can see standing water here. I could have taken several photos as it winds its way around, but we can obviously see wetlands. If we were to blow this up, you would see in the upper right a tag for wetlands that was put in by the planner. Next. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lori?
Yes, Lori Wiltshire.
Lori, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So this application is for very modest additions to a fairly small house in the Ditch Plains area of Montauk. The existing house is 1,036 square feet, and the Sharmas are proposing to build a 163 square foot first floor kitchen addition and a 348 square foot second floor master bedroom. The existing house has only 2 bedrooms, and the Sharmas have 2 children, a 13-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl. This would be the hardship behind this request. This and the fact that the entire property is within 150 feet of wetlands. Lot coverage is proposed to increase by 378 square feet and total lot coverage by only 136 square feet, as the proposed additions are both proposed over existing structures. Both the kitchen addition and the outdoor shower are proposed on top of an existing concrete patio, and there is a dry well proposed for the shower runoff. They are also proposing to upgrade the sanitary system to an IA-OWTS. That system is proposed at the furthest point from the wetlands, and the TAM recognizes it as the best place on the property for that system. There is no clearing proposed, as all improvements will be situated in existing cleared areas. However, the Sharmas would agree to a 40-foot vegetated buffer and scenic easement to mitigate any potential impacts to the wetlands. They also agree to the use of gutters, leaders, and dry wells, and a quartz driveway. Obviously, project limiting fencing. That a revegetation plan would be implemented before a certificate of occupancy, not before the building permit. That always works out in a tricky way. The health department approval will issue as soon as we submit the ZBA approval, and the New York State DEC has issued a letter of non-jurisdiction previously submitted to your file. I want to make note of 2 letters that were submitted. Godsell Development, Jared Godsell wrote a letter. He's the neighbor to the immediate west, who has recently gotten approval to build a house on that vacant lot. His concern is that our septic system, if you look at the survey, is going to be slightly mounded by 2 feet. So if you look at the property line, it's about 24 feet, and they're adding 2 contours, 25 feet and 26 feet, to raise that system to meet the groundwater separation requirements. Mr. Jared Godsell has asked that we create a buffer to keep the runoff from that system from going onto his driveway on the next door property. We don't have a problem with that. That's a simple solution to a mitigatable problem. The other thing is a letter from, I almost said Laura McPherson. It's not from Laura McPherson. It's from Josephine De Stefano. So this letter points out, I'm assuming she's an immediate neighbor. She doesn't say where she lives, but she did apparently receive notice from us because she points that out in her letter. We only notified 4 neighbors, 2 across the street and 1 on either side, because the neighbor behind is Montauk Highway, or the state right of way. So with that in mind, she said that this house is located in a water protection district in the town of East Hampton, which is General Legislation, Chapter 209, Low Nitrogen Sanitary System Incentive Program. So basically what she's saying is that this property has been identified as a water quality, a property that contributes to water quality. And these are the parcels that have been recommended for upgraded IA-OWTS systems. That's what's in front of you today. So this is in fact in line with that legislation. She also went on to say that the outdoor shower should be denied, but we're putting a dry well in, so the water from the outdoor shower will not be feeding into the wetlands. Actually, we're putting gutters, leaders, and dry wells around the entire residence, so it's going to be a marked improvement from what's there now. There are none. Secondly, she said that the kitchen extension should also be denied because of harmful impacts to the wetlands. Again, it's on top of an existing slab, concrete patio. It will have gutters, leaders, and dry wells that will prohibit it from draining into the wetlands. So in fact, her comments are very valid in that this property should have an IAOWTS, but we are mitigating the potential impacts to the wetlands with all the mitigation, including the 40-foot buffer, the scenic easement, the IA, the gutters and leaders, the court's driveway. Overall, considering the scope of this project, which is very nominal, this is going to be a huge improvement for the wetlands. You're not going to have the roof runoff bleeding right into it. You're not going to have the septic system bleeding right into it. This is all going to be self-contained and a big improvement and lots of buffer and planting in the back.
Okay. What was the buffer line you mentioned?
40 feet.
40?
Yeah, so Tyler put forth 3 options attached to the TAM
Yeah.
of 30, 40, and 50. 50 was too close to the house.
Right,
There's
comes right
no
up to the
living
house.
room around it.
You can see that there.
And with 2 kids who are likely to run around, you don't want to block that action. So 30 feet was not enough, 40 feet was perfect, and 50 was too much. So we agree with the 40-foot option and to put a scenic easement up to that once it's been planted as well.
And then on the, in the relationship to the letter from Mr. Godsell, where he has this complaint about potential runoff flooding his future driveway, which he expects to be right there. You said you were willing to establish a buffer. He's suggesting a berm.
A berm.
Are you agreeing that you'll
I
be
think we
putting
can do a berm, yes. I talked to the engineer today. The
No.
berm would not be a problem, and that would in fact impede runoff. What you plant it with is a little different than what Mr. Godsell would like to see. You can't use woody, what did he use? What are the words he used to me
He
today?
he had some bayberries and.
Yeah, you can't use woody species because the root systems will penetrate the system.
Cedar
Yeah.
or bayberry.
Yeah.
He says we're probably going to have to use grasses, but they will be as efficient at absorbing moisture. And also they get quite tall. So they'll create a visual buffer as well as a runoff buffer.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I know.
Terry?
No.
Tyler?
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lori.
Good evening, Tyler Borsak for the planning department again. So this parcel is located on the north side of Benson Drive, in the intersection, near the intersection with Flag Avenue in Montauk. The parcel is improved with single-family residence and limited accessory structures. The application before the board is to construct a 163 square foot first floor addition, a 348 square foot second floor addition, new roof line, an outdoor shower on the east side of the proposed addition, to install new windows and doors, make interior alterations, install a new driveway, and to install a new IA sanitary system within setbacks and jurisdiction of freshwater wetlands. Premises are located within the Ditch Plains area of Montauk, which is located southwest of Lake Montauk. The area is characterized by high-density residential development in which the subdivisions and much of the construction in the area occurred prior to the town's adoption of zoning in 1957 or natural resource special permit standards and setbacks established in 1984. The wetlands pertinent to this application are located within the New York State Montauk Highway right-of-way to the north. Water flows east and north, where it is culverted beneath the state boulevard prior to discharging into the southern end of Lake Montauk. Wetlands such as this one provide essential habitat for wetland-dependent plants and animals within the dense residential development of Ditch Plains. The application before the board represents a fairly significant addition to a modest existing residence. Because the pre-existing non-conforming status of the residence on this property, the applicants are limited by the 50% cap placed on it under section 255-860 of the town code. The 50% cap limits expansion of the non-conforming buildings by limiting the ZBA's ability to even approve variances, which would increase the gross floor area of the non-conforming portion of a non-conforming building by more than 50%. With an existing gross floor area of 1,038 square feet, the maximum expansion of the residence within setbacks is limited to only 519 square feet. The total expansion of the first and second story additions on this application add up to 511 square feet, representing 49.2% of that allowable expansion. While the code limits expansion to 50% of the existing GFA, this is not a guaranteed right to expansion, simply a limit placed on the ZBA's ability to approve unlimited expansion of nonconformities. The applicants are proposing two separate additions to this application. The first is a second-story addition over the existing first floor of the residence, which includes an additional third bedroom and bathroom. Generally, if additional living space is required on constrained lots, the planning department recommends that working within the existing footprint of a residence is often the best option available to help limit impacts to the surrounding natural features. Reducing the footprint of a residence within setback and jurisdiction to freshwater wetlands helps to reduce runoff and other impacts. While the second-story addition is adding additional living space, which means additional impacts to the wetlands, considering the footprint of the proposals where practicable helps to reduce overall impacts of the project to the minimum necessary in order to achieve the applicant's goals. In addition to the proposed second story is a smaller 163 square foot first floor addition in order to expand the existing kitchen within the residence. This addition expands the footprint of the residence, although it would likely not be practical to expand the second floor of the residence in order to facilitate a larger kitchen on the first floor. This addition is no closer to wetlands than the existing residence, but it does represent additional residential space and additional footprint within fairly close proximity to vulnerable natural features. It is worth noting that the area where the first floor addition is proposed is already encumbered by a concrete patio, so the amount of additional impervious space proposed in this application is limited. If additional first floor area is absolutely required, constructing that over an already improved area is probably the best option available. The proposed sanitary system upgrade is located in the best possible location on the property, the southeastern corner of the lot. Overall, the proposed sanitary system appears to be appropriately located and designed for the constraints of the property and is in accordance with the ZBA's past approvals. Finally, the applicants are proposing to change out some windows and doors around the residence, install an outdoor shower over the existing concrete patio on the east side, and install a new driveway. The outdoor shower is proposed on the east side of the residence in location that already improves the concrete patio. This location could potentially meet better wetland setbacks, although any relocation would have minimal improvements to setbacks and may not provide any significant benefits. The applicants have also already included a proposed dry well for the outdoor shower on the sanitary system plans. The driveway is proposed to be shifted slightly to the east in order to accommodate the new sanitary system and also includes a small turnaround area. The proposed driveway is approximately 100 square feet larger than the existing driveway. When looking at the entire project as a whole, the application is proposing increased lot coverage of the property by 378 square feet, which is close to the maximum allowable. This is partially due to the increase in the roof overhangs proposed with the new roof line, as well as the 163 square foot first floor addition. The project is also proposing an increase in the total lot coverage by 136 square feet. As the first floor addition and roof overhangs are proposed partially over the existing patio on the property, the total lot coverage is proposed to only increase, not proposed to increase significantly. Much of the increase in the total lot coverage is likely from the roof overhangs as well as the new driveway. The board should discuss both additions and their impacts on the wetlands to the north, expanding the footprint of the residence and expanding the residence to nearly the maximum allowable under the 50% cap should be considered and weighed against the size of the existing conditions where the additions are proposed and the mitigation able to be offered. It appears that the sanitary system may not be able to be considered as mitigation, considering the size of the improvements that are proposed. It may be a necessity based on the town code, but the applicant may have additional information that the board could then utilize to consider it for mitigation. But the revegetation that the applicants have agreed to is, I think, a significant improvement to the property. 40 foot from the edge of the wetlands. Obviously, 50 feet was put on there. I didn't think that was realistic. It ran right up to the edge of the house. But the 40 foot revegetation would have, I think, a significant reduction in runoff towards the wetlands. And the board should discuss if they feel that any additional mitigation measures are appropriate and to what extent the mitigation needs to be in order to increase the size of the residence. Other than that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Tyler?
No.
Terry?
I'm just curious, coming within 8 feet of the 50%, what happens if something has to happen that brings it up?
They wouldn't even, you can't even propose an application that would exceed the 50% cap. So if they wanted a 9 extra feet, they wouldn't even be able to come to the zoning board and ask for it.
So even
It's a
if it
hard cap. The board can't
happens in
even
the middle
entertain
of
the
the
idea.
project, if this were approved.
Yeah, I mean, if they tore the house down and rebuilt, they wouldn't be subject to that. So that would be ultimately what, the next iteration of this project, of this property would probably be a redevelopment. If they wanted additional space. It's probably not appropriate given how constrained it is to go significantly larger than what they are now. But that's a different issue altogether.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Lori, anything to add?
No, I mean, the one comment was that we're adding.
I gotta go to the
one
public
bedroom,
too.
one bathroom,
I'll go to the public.
But we're actually, it's the same number of people.
Great.
It's 3. They were stuffing themselves into 2 bedrooms and now there'll be 3.
Anybody from the public? Matt, anybody online from the public?
You have 0 calls. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Vice Chair.
Okay, let me get it out here. Where is it? Then in the case of Christian Sharma, 39 Benson Drive, Montauk, Suffolk County Tax Map 300-030-01-10. I'd like to I'd like to,
Close.
I know, I'm joking. I'd like the close the public hearing, make a motion to close the public hearing and the public record at this time.
Second.
Concur. Thank you. Thank you, Laurie. Now you're on. I'll read you into the record and then we'll go. Then our next application is Michael Martinson at 38 Chapel Lane in Spring, Suffolk Tax Map number 300-103-7-8. The size and location is 16,800 square feet and 38 Chapel Lane, Barnes Landing, Section 1, Block 3, Lot 65 to 68, map number 1935 in Springs. The description is to replace the existing front stoop, front stairs, and decking in place and in kind. Construct a new 96 square foot rear deck, new basement door entryway, outdoor shower, remove an existing non-conforming 120 square foot shed, and construct a new 160 square foot shed. Replace the existing second story windows in place, construct new fencing, and an upgraded sanitary system on a parcel of land containing freshwater wetlands. The relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420 of the East Hampton Town, and 6 variances are required for this application. 5 variants of 70.5 feet, 71 feet, 60.4 feet, 50.5 feet, and 44.6 feet are required from 255-430 of the Town Code to construct the basement entry at 28.5 feet, front stairs 29 feet, rear decking 39.6 feet, outdoor shower 50.5 feet, and shed 55.4 feet from freshwater wetlands, where 100-foot setbacks are required. 1 variance is required from 255-430A of the Town Code to allow the fencing to be constructed within wetlands where construction of, if prohibited, and any other relief necessary. The zoning district is B residence, Zone X flood zone, and the secret class is type 2. And council, do we have a proper affidavit of service and posting?
I have no affidavit of service in my file, or wasn't sent an affidavit of service either.
I brought it into the office
Okay.
the day I did it, which was that Friday, like December 30th. The green receipts and the affidavit that I had notarized,
Okay.
and I gave it to the secretary at the office.
Okay. Is when we went to who did the pictures?
Denise took the pictures and who's not here, but Tyler has those pictures.
Do you have a picture
So
of
I
them?
believe there was, I didn't hear, yep, there's the posting right there.
Okay. All right. So I mean, it's up to you
I
if you want
recommend we
to.
move forward with this and then look for the,
Yeah. I mean, we have some proof. Go search for it. Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
What office did you bring it to? The attorney's
Oh.
office or the ZBA office?
To the office where I put the application in, where I would reach Tyler.
Did you may have it?
ZBA.
Okay. I mean, we have proof of posting, so,
We
or
have
some
proof of
type of
posting,
proof of posting,
right?
based on the pictures alone. And you said you did it on what date?
I
Remember?
I turned them in on that Friday, which was the 30th of December.
Okay, so you have 10 days if that's true, if we can find them. So we'll go ahead and proceed under the notion that we have valid affidavits of service.
you.
Does she need to go there and find it now?
I don't think so. I think-
Laura, you don't need to go now. I think we're gonna carry the meeting, go ahead with the meeting. And if we have to, we can leave the record open for a week or something, just to verify that we have copies of that.
Yeah. Do you have copies? If we don't, did you make yourself a copy?
Didn't, and I went right from the post office to your office and handed them over.
Okay.
Right. Okay,
So she's going anywhere?
all right, thank you. All right, so Tyler, we can walk through the photos.
Yeah, Denise
Um,
sent me these.
Denise, yeah,
So this is the front of the house. This is stairs that are in front of the board, reconstructed stairs. There's a bunch of reconstruction that's going to be shown and some new structures. So stairs are in the middle of being reconstructed, mostly done. This is then the left side of the house as you're looking at it. This is to be reconstructed. The southern decking, I guess it would be. That's coming around that same side of the house. That's the decking to be replaced. Again, coming further around towards the back of the house, but still looking at that decking. Notice. That's the rear side of the house. That decking that's to be reconstructed would be over here. This is where the basement entrance is proposed to be located. And this is the existing like walkout area at the back of the house. They're proposing a new deck back here, larger deck. And same area, decking would be in here somewhere. The existing shed on the property, a new shed is proposed in the same location, slightly larger. And just photos around the property. I think that's to the north.
No, that would be to the south.
Okay, to the south. And then that would be the right side of the house as you're looking at it. Women on the property looking at the neighboring property. Same neighboring property we saw before, I believe. Women on the property. You out towards the wetlands on the property. Across the street, I believe.
Mhm.
And then that's a view look at the property. The driveway actually goes through wetlands, pre-existing, obviously, many years. And that's the front from the street. It's to the right, I believe, as we're looking at the property.
Yes.
Nature preserve would be to the left of the property, over closer towards the fresh pond side of it. So that would be the nature preserve there. And then we just looked at.
thank you. Introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, I'm Mike Martinson. I own the property there. And I do swear to.
You
tell the
swear affirm
truth.
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'm here before you with this request to try to make that property livable. The house that I bought was the only house I could afford in this town after even being homeless with 3 kids living in a tent for many months on East Lake Drive in a friend's backyard. And then turning to the Catholic Church and finding a rental for $3,300 a month, which lasted for several years. And finally, I was able to buy a place. I bought the cheapest house in East Hampton and didn't realize that wetlands made it so that I couldn't fix it up without coming to you guys first. I was told when I bought the house that I wouldn't be able to do a swimming pool, but I didn't need a swimming pool. I just need a couple of bedrooms. I need a safe entry in. I need to not have to worry about a fire at night. And everything else is kind of gravy to me. If I can put a deck on the back, I'll be able to have a barbecue outside of my kitchen. And I'm offering to And I actually got the plans from the guys that developed these systems to upgrade the septic system, try to improve how that property does affect the wetlands and the community. I think that the work that I'm applying for is minimal and necessary for us to have a decent, lifestyle. And I don't think it's going to hurt our community in any way. When I did buy the property, there were other folks that were interested in buying the property. They came to me later to let me know that they didn't, because they understood that these wetlands were going to be a problem. Once I did buy the property and my mom was going to come over and visit us, the front staircase was, she has a bad hip. She wouldn't have made it up and down the stairs. So with a couple of firefighter friends, we took the old stoop off and replaced the front stoop. And one of the neighbors that had decided not to buy the property for these reasons was upset that I was using saws and making noise and getting started on work, having just bought the place. I didn't realize that I needed these permits, and a stop work order was demanded, at which time we used a ladder to get into the house for the entire summer and into October. And it was just a very slow process. We couldn't get the stop work order lifted before we get to you guys. And so we just decided to finish the stoop so that we could have a safe entry into the house. We got tickets for violating the stop work order. And I just want to get the permits so that I can replace the deck and do a few things so that I'm a little bit less of an eyesore in the community, because it's actually quite humiliating to not be able to even rake the leaves, I'm told, or paint anything in the house, according to a stop work order. So the condition of the property is very, very poor, but as soon as I have permits to start work, it's going to be markedly improved, both environmentally and, from the state of the public's view.
Thank you. This front deck, that was in place in kind or?
In place in kind,
Yeah.
yes.
You just talk to us about the fence on the property line fence in wetlands, because that might be our biggest stumbling block.
Fine. If you don't want it there, I won't put it there. I was just to try to keep an area in the back where the dog can, we won't have to worry about the dog, and we can keep the deer away from our vegetation in our gardens. But I don't need it. It was only a request.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, I'd be interested when we get to talk to Tyler to see if he has suggestions about where that fence could go. If you wanted to have something of a more limited basis, not the full
Sure.
property,
Great.
you could perhaps see what his suggestion would be. And this is it's a nice sized parcel. It's about 4/10 of an acre. So it's 16,000 feet. It's more than a quarter of an acre parcels. Yeah.
Harry, you have any questions?
No, I'd like to hear from Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tyler?
Tyler Borzak for the planning department again. So the parcel is located on the south side of Chapel Lane in Springs. The parcel directly to the east of the subject property is a town-owned nature preserve on the corner of Barnes Hole Road and Chapel Lane. The parcel is improved with a single-family residence and limited accessory associated structures. The application before the board is to allow the reconstruction of several existing structures, construction of new decking, outdoor shower, shed, basement entry, and an upgraded sanitary system, and to construct new fencing within wetlands. The fencing on the surveys are part of the wetlands on the survey are part of an extensive complex of hardwood, swamp, and marshes that are part of the western limits of the Fresh Pond watershed. Many of the wetlands have been ditched and culverted in an effort to control freshwater mosquito populations. The wetlands on the survey appear to be the relic of the more extensive wetlands to the east. It should be noted that these wetlands provide all the benefits associated with high-quality freshwater wetlands and contain very high biodiversity and an unusually high concentration of rare plants. The wetlands within jurisdiction constitute an integral part of the natural environment, and more specifically, the hydraulic system. In addition to diversifying the landscape, These wetlands play a significant role in the storage of water, flood control, and the maintenance of water quality. The wetlands are an important component for habitat of a variety of wildlife species. And additionally, these wetlands may serve as groundwater recharge or discharge areas. The application before the board includes several minor changes and additions to the existing conditions of a very constrained property. The wetlands on this property make up approximately 1/3 of the total lot area and include a majority of the northern and eastern lot lines. Existing clearing on the property extends up to and into the wetlands, with the driveway extending through the wetlands on the northeast corner of the lot. These nonconformities appear to date back to the original construction on the property. Some of the nonconforming structures that currently exist were never granted any ZB approval or received any building permits. The existing shed on the west side of the lot appears to have been constructed sometimes between 2013 and 2016 without any ZBA approval. That structure is proposed to be removed, with a new slightly larger shed proposed in approximately the same location. This shed location appears to be one of the best locations available on the parcel in order to maximize setbacks. And if the board feels that additional structures are appropriate, this location would be the best option available. However, the shed being proposed in the best location available also applies to a potential sanitary system upgrade on the property. Utilizing the shed location for a sanitary system upgrade could increase the setbacks to the wetlands for proposed sanitary system significantly. Ultimately, it may not be viable to locate the sanitary system here, given the location of the existing water supply well. But the location should at least be examined and considered to try and minimize impacts on the wetlands. The existing sanitary system, which is on the survey, is incredibly close to wetlands, about 11 feet away. There's going to be some fairly significant excavation at that to remove it and install the new one. So every effort should be made to try and minimize the impacts on the wetlands. The board may also want to have the survey updated to include the proposed sanitary system location. It is on the sanitary plan, which I can pull up. The sanitary system is shown where it's proposed to be located. Obviously, same relative location as the existing system is located. The shed being located on the, west side of the lot, that sanitary system could potentially be rotated to be in a north-south along that, or north-south orientation along the western lot. You'd gain a couple feet. I don't know if it'd be anything, any huge improvement, but it is a very constrained lot, so everything can count. So it's definitely worth considering the option at the very least. I don't know if the engineer at the time had considered that, and it's not viable, but it's certainly worth looking into. In addition to the shed and the sanitary system, the applicant is proposing to complete work on the front steps, which are in the process of being reconstructed, in addition to the reconstruction of the southern decking. The applicants are also requesting variances in order to construct a few new structures on the southwestern side of the residence, including a new 8 by 12 foot deck, basement entry, and outdoor shower. None of those structures are proposed any closer to wetlands than the existing residence, but do include additional impermeable or semi-permeable surfaces on a constrained property. While they are fairly minor improvements, the board should examine any additional structures on a constrained property, such as this, very closely to determine if they meet the variance standards. The existing residence is located extremely close to important freshwater wetlands, so any additional improvements around the existing residence will require significant wetland setback variances. It should be noted that the proposed decking would be a poor location for the expansion of the existing residence in the future, and the board may want to note that if the additional decking is approved. Finally, is the fencing that's proposed to be constructed along the perimeter of the property and is partially located within wetland boundaries. Some of the fencing might be appropriate on some level of fencing might be appropriate on the property within the existing clearing limits. But approving fencing around the perimeter of the property well within wetlands setbacks and within wetlands themselves has the potential to set a dangerous precedent in an area of significant freshwater wetlands. The planning department recommends that the variance request for the fencing be denied. The board has in the past and continues to set a high bar for construction of structures within wetlands. Any proposed construction within wetlands need to be closely scrutinized, and a high threshold should be set for any reasoning as to why structures need to be located within those wetlands. It seems that the applicant is okay with relocating any fencing. I would suggest keeping it within the existing clearing limits, obviously outside the edge of wetlands. There's not a heck of a lot of room, obviously, on the property to get a conforming setback. But certainly keeping it outside the edge of wetlands is, I think, the bare minimum of what should be considered on this property. The board should examine the application and any application on this parcel very closely. With such significant constraints, any additional construction has the potential to negatively impact not just the wetlands on the subject property, but on wetlands far beyond the borders of the property as well. The board should be sure that the proposed improvements meet the variance and NRSP standards, and that proper mitigation is utilized for appropriate levels of development. Other than that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Do we have any questions for Tyler?
I don't, thank you.
Gary?
Now, with the statement about the sanitary system and the well, are you talking about the well that's on the property or neighboring
Yeah, I'm not
wells?
sure. I'm not sure what stuff, if Suffolk County, would have an issue with it being along, north-south, if it would then be too close. And that's why it's in the location it's in. I'm not certain. It may have
Yeah,
been
what's
something
the
that came up.
distance? It's a pretty big distance, right?
I think it's 100 feet from neighboring wells. I don't know if it's on your own property.
Yeah, it's still 100 feet.
Still 100,
Yeah,
right?
so that
Yeah.
could certainly be the reason why it's
driving
not designed. that
Correct.
way.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Michael, can you come up? I did have a couple questions regarding the basement access. Does the house have interior access to the basement?
There's a 3 foot by 3 foot square hole in the floor underneath the.
Oh, so you're
dryer.
trying to just
So when
create
I
an
go in
exterior
there,
access?
I have no way out except the ladder that I went down. So I'd like to have access in and out.
Okay,
in
All right.
two directions.
And in that basement now you have utilities and things like that, storage, is that it?
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Public? Anybody in the public? Matt? Thank
You have 0 callers. Thank you.
All right, good. Sure.
I heard from the neighbor and I have a text message from them. And they're away and they didn't receive the notification that I mailed out. But knowing that there was a conflict previous, I sent a friendly text message out the day that I sent the letter out. And I didn't want them to be worried when they saw a big letter arriving from me. So I explained what was going to be arriving that day and learned that they were away. But the text message that I've received since, they asked me if I could send them a copy and I couldn't because I sent all of my copies out. I didn't keep one for myself. But they did find the copy online and having found it, they sent me a text message. And if you'd like, I could read it to you. Let's see here. Second.
While you're looking for that, counsel, for the record, Laura went and checked. Are we in compliance with the service and posting now?
So, yeah, I'm not worried about so much as the notice. The certified receipts are attached to the affidavit service, but the affidavit service itself isn't filled out correctly. So he just needs to fix it. He just needs, if you can just leave it open for a week so that
Okay.
he can fill it out properly, and then he can even bring it to our office. We'll notarize it
Okay.
for him.
Thank you.
Got it. So I have to fill that out better. I signed it without filling it out properly. I understand. I'm still looking here. I know it's right here. My brain won't remind me of their name. So I can't just put their name in. Can I give it 1 second and come back up when I find it?
We're at the end.
I feel like,
Yeah, we're at the
At the
point where we
end.
want to close the,
okay,
Hearing.
well,
See if
let
you
me
can
let me
find it.
find it here then.
well,
We'll wait. You waited
50.
for us, so.
actually, we're going to leave the public record
Yeah,
open.
exactly.
So if you want,
Here it is.
okay, fine.
Here it is. I was able to get the information online. Wanted to let you know that, and I'm not mentioning the names, have no objections, and wish you good luck and happy improvements. We all should live in a home we love.
Thank you.
That was from that neighbor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Do
you.
we have to have that officially entered into?
He read it
the-
into the record. I think we're fine.
Record. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so therefore, I'll make a motion to, in the case of Michael, application of Michael Martinson at 38 Chapel Lane in Springs, Suffolk tax map number 300-103-7-8 is to close the public hearing, but keep the record open for 1 week so that the form application for the posting is properly filled out by the applicant. Okay, so you got, and that you're going to do at the town attorney's office?
Yeah, I'll just take 1 second and go over there real quick, explain to him what I need, and then he can bring it back and we'll notarize it. Cause I saw it
Okay.
here.
I'll second
Okay, thank you.
I'll concur.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Having them available. It looks pretty good. Pretty good.
Tyler walked through Denise's picture.
It's not bad.
Was that?
Thank you so much.
Tyler actually presented it.
He
photos.
he read it in.
I read it into record and Tyler just went through the photos. Okay, we're going to move on to administrative applications. The first one is Phoebe Eng at 16 Swamp Road in East Hampton, Suffolk tax map number 300-133-2-6.2, and that's demolition of a structure within 150 feet of freshwater wetlands. Morgan?
So this property is to be acquired by the town through CPF. The wetlands are a little bit more extensive than what's shown on the survey, but as per Brian's advice, this is sufficient for just demolition purposes. We are leaning towards removing the existing sanitary system, which might require some clearing in that area, but mitigation will be silt fencing and whatnot. So that's just a demolition.
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with this.
Yeah, me too.
This is merely the demolition.
Yep.
For CPF.
Okay. I'm fine with it.
You good with this?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion then with Phoebe Eng at 16 Swamp Road, East Hampton, Suffolk tax map number 300-133-2-6.2 to allow the application to proceed administratively.
I'll second it.
Concur.
Thank you. Second, we have Lisa E. Sherman at 6 Calman Court, East Hampton, Suffolk tax map number 300-91-1-17.2. And that's to install an updated sanitary system and construct a first floor addition, detached garage, new driveway and patio terrace on a parcel containing freshwater wetlands.
So you can see the wetlands and there's an easement to the west of the property. They're changing the driveway slightly and the detached garage is proposed to be 484 square feet. The one-story addition is proposed to be 316 square feet, and then a screen porch is all the way to the west, and that's going to be 235 square feet. The total GFA is then increasing by 316 square feet. So they are also proposing a sanitary upgrade, which is going to be on the north side of the property. And they are expanding the pool patio a little bit. And they are proposing about 2,200 square feet of more clearing, which would bring it to 16,022 square feet, where 20,391 square feet is allowed. And the clearing, it's kind of hard to see because it's neon, but the proposed clearing is basically that neon green border. And then that dotted line is the existing clearing. So there is a deer fence, which I don't believe went to ARB. So we're we would like to have that removed as a condition of the permit. It also extends into the easement, so that's absolutely got to be removed there. And then also there are, significant white pine trees on the property. So especially around where the garage is proposed to be. So another mitigation measure would be to revegetate any white pines that need to be removed.
And where would
They're
those
removing
go?
white pines?
Where the where the garage is proposed to be, there are white pines there.
But where would they revegetate?
I would say probably to like the east of the driveway, more towards the north, that is probably where we would propose for them to be.
I can't read those numbers. How far from the wetlands are they?
116 to the garage, I think.
116?
180, wait, no. Yeah, 116, sorry.
Yeah, 116 to the garage. The line here is your 150 line.
So not everything needs the NRSP.
Not the the sanitary would be within 200, so that would also be an RSP.
The addition looks like just out.
Yeah. And the terrace?
The corner of the terrace is in. Barely.
They're offering the sanitary system as mitigation?
It was just as part of the application to begin with, so
So probably.
yeah, probably.
The,
They are
you're-
increasing the GFA.
But you're okay with this additional, how many square feet of addition?
316 square feet of clearing
Additional
or
clearing.
2,200 square feet.
Yeah.
What's the lot size?
83,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's pretty
Big
large.
lot.
Big lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the blue line is the property, the neon blue is the
Yeah.
property line.
Oh.
It looks so
Yeah, it's
small on the
like-
screen.
That's all, yeah,
It's big.
it's a pretty big lot.
I mean, okay, I'm okay. I saw this earlier, but I'm okay
Yeah.
with
I
this.
think I'm okay.
I'm okay as well.
Thank you. Therefore, I'll make a motion for Lisa E. Sherman at 6 Calman Court, East Hampton, Suffolk, tax map number 300-91-1-17.2 to allow the application to proceed administratively.
I'll second.
Concur.
I concur.
Thank you. Next, we have Goose Farm LLC at 30 Wainscott Stone Highway in Wainscott, Suffolk, tax map number 300-197-7-5, and that's a removal of an accessory structure within wetlands jurisdiction and construction of a driveway gate 100 feet from wetlands. If you think the previous lot was large, wait till you see this one.
This is on the west
Looks so
side of
small.
It's
Gerard. I'll
big.
pull up the aerial here. So you can see it's on the west side of Georgica. Large lot, obviously. There's a lot going on the property, but a lot of it is out of jurisdiction. So there's a swimming pool going in out of jurisdiction. There's your 150-foot line, as well as a lot of deconstruction of structures back here, all out of jurisdiction. Small small compared to the size of the house, proposed addition here. They're removing an accessory structure here, and only a portion of that accessory structure is within jurisdiction. And that's really the bulk of what the application is. So it's fairly minor as far as what's under the board's jurisdiction, what they're proposing.
And what are we voting on? The red?
The red thing,
Triangle?
removal.
Right.
Triangle.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's a removal.
Mhm.
How many acres is? this
It's
property?
probably bigger than it looks too
lot.
on the screen.
Excluding wetlands, it's 203,000 square feet.
Oh, wow.
Including it's
Big.
230,000.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay, I think Wayne Scott, I'll take this again. Goose Farm LLC, I'll make a motion for Goose Farm LLC, 30 Wayne Scott Stone Highway, Wayne Scott, Suffolk, tax map number 300-197-7-5, and to allow it to proceed administratively.
Second.
Concur.
I'll concur.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our post-hearing decisions. We have Maurice Iudicone or Iudicone at 184 Soundview Avenue in Montauk, Suffolk, tax map number 300-3-1-1.2. The size and location is 58,935 square feet total. at 184 Soundview Drive in Montauk, Suffolk, Suffolk Tax Map number 300-3-1-1.2 and 1.4. The description is to place 1,000 cubic yards of bluff compatible fill, biodegradable erosion matting, and beach grass along an eroding bluff on a parcel of land containing coastal bluffs, beaches, and tidal wetlands. The relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420 of the town code and any other relief necessary. The zoning district is A3 residence, VE velocity, and X flood zones, and the secret class is type 2. Whose application is it? Ed,
Yep.
Vice Chair, you can go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board will remember that this hearing was held on November 29th, 2022. We were working from a survey that was issued on September 29th, 2022, and received by us on October 13th, 2022. The representative, the client was represented by Adam Chakunian, and he took care of trying to explain this somewhat complicated project. You'll remember that the case here basically came down to, there was this request to add 1,000 feet and vegetate at the base of a bluff that has suffered severe and dramatic erosion over the last several years. In particular, had been more dramatic, but it was pointed out by the planner at the time, Brian Frank, that over a longer period of time, it's something around 4 foot a year, although in testimony, Ram Kukunian testified that they had lost closer to 8 or 10 feet a year over the last 4 years. Very dramatic. I did the photos, and when you're out on site, you see possibly as good an example of what happens when you harden a beach in one place, what happens immediately adjacent to it. The erosion is dramatic. We saw at the time that there was a walkway that went out to a staircase. At one point, that walkway was on solid ground. When I crossed it, it was hanging in the air because the soil beneath had been eroded and was gone. The problem here is multiple. There's many reasons, but one dramatic one is that immediately to the east of this property, there are sandbags that apparently have been illegally or without permission, without proper permission, been installed, and they've caused a great deal of erosion. Beyond what is done on the property there, approximately 17 feet extend onto the applicant's property. The erosion was pretty dramatic and ongoing, and it was very easy to understand the concern of the client. This is a complicated situation because there's no immediate answer for what can be done to actually stabilize this parcel. So the applicant and the board all realized in conversation that this is a Band-Aid, something that goes there that hopefully will slow down erosion and maintain the bluff crest while they work on a longer term solution. In order to accomplish this, one of the areas of most concern for us during the discussion, or great concern anyway, is they're going to need an access roadway to deliver the 1,000 cubic yards of sand to the site. And it's of concern because there's a well-established vegetation will have to be removed and eventually replanted. But during that time, during construction, there's a significant possibility the erosion might occur from above. And so if this were to be improved, a strict construction protocol designed to prevent that form of erosion from occurring will have to be followed. The 1,000 cubic yards is very short-term cure, if it's a cure at all, for the problem of bluff erosion here. It would be more beneficial for the applicant to attempt to negotiate a solution that might lead to removal of the sandbags and come up with a solution that might benefit both the property to the east and his property. But short of that, the applicant has stated that he hasn't got very many options. And one of them is to add sand while he can, where he can, in an attempt to stabilize and stop, or at least slow, the erosion that is rapidly moving backward towards his house. Now, the house is well set back from the cliff, so it's not in immediate danger. but the amount of damage being done here is fairly dramatic. I think we all talked about it, and I think that there was a frank discussion on behalf of the applicant's representative that it's not a great solution, but it's something. And I think that Brian Frank spoke up at the time and said that, well, again, while it's not the answer to the problem, it's better than ignoring the problem and not making an attempt to slow the erosion. So with that in mind, in terms of the NFB standards of 25420 -4-20, that in balance, the benefit to the environment here, I believe, outweighs the potential damage that might be done during construction. I think that what will happen here is that an effort will be made, 1,000 feet will go in, it'll be shaped, it'll be planted, and there'll be the hope that it survives whatever storms we have coming. If it has to be redone again, I guess they'll be in front of us for future work. But not a great solution, but something, and something was better than nothing in this case. So I'm willing to approve it at this time.
Thank you. Jerry?
Okay, well, I agree with my fellow board member. I will be approving this. Just a couple of other little details. The applicant does have a DEC permit that they received in 2019 for the work. And we do have a construction protocol that we received on October 13th also, along with the new survey from First Coastal. And the amended plan, there was a plan that also we received amended on October 13th, 2022. But everything as described by the vice chair is absolutely correct. There's no great solution. However, something does need to be done for however long it lasts. And they are going to they'll remove the temporary ramp down at the bluff after the construction. So I too am looking to approve it. I think it will be an improvement. What about, one thing that bothers, I was at the site and it's really a safety issue where the bluff has eroded.
Yeah.
That it's no railing where the steps go.
There's many
Is that-
bulkheads and there are many bulks, right, that are more than the 30 inches by code that don't have railings, right? In town, are you talking
No,
about?
where the bluff
Oh, the-
eroded, where you
Oh,
go,
I
where
see.
you walk off
Yeah,
that
yeah,
from the house.
Yeah.
And before you get to the steps that go down, it's been eroded and it's downright scary.
There's something
It
of a
really is.
20-foot gangplank
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
It goes from
Yeah,
one place
really.
to another. Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's the owner's responsibility. I don't know if.
I
you
know,
to
but it's just,
say that.
I would think
It's
they
of concern
would
when you're
have
there.
that
Yeah, good
railing
point.
put back. It's a small thing compared to
Yeah.
everything else here.
No?
I don't think I have anything to add to the pretty comprehensive dilemma that Member Johan described, which is, I think Brian Frank said it's really a town issue and it's a broader issue, but if these people are willing to, and they seem to understand it, it's a potential Band-Aid, but it may help, then we should approve it.
Well,
Thank you.
it's good for the bluff.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll last.
I too agree, and I have very little to add. Nothing to add really, but I do say this is proof positive how a neighbor's illegal structure can greatly
Yeah.
Yeah.
affect the neighbor's property, and I wish it would get corrected. With that, that being said, you okay, council?
Yep.
Next, we have Rose Malandredos at 48 Treasure Island Drive in Amagansett, Suffolk tax map number 300-175-5-20. And the size and location is 4,000 square feet at 48 Treasure Island Drive, Beach Hampton, Block 5, Lot 7 and 8, map number 1319 in Amagansett, Suffolk tax map number 300-175-5-20. The description is to allow an approximately 32 square foot shed and concrete pad to remain within side yard lot line setbacks and outside of the town's pyramid regulations, and to allow the existing clearing on the parcel to remain within the installation of gravel areas, paver walkways, and fencing on a parcel of land containing dunes and dune vegetation. Relief sought is a natural resources special permit pursuant to 255-420 of the East Hampton Town, and 3 variances are required for this application. Two variances of 6.9 feet and 7 feet are required from 255-1110 of the town code to allow the shed to remain 1 foot 1 and concrete to remain 1 foot from the northern side northern side yard lot line where 8-foot setbacks are required. One variance of 6.8 feet is required from 255-1142D of the town code to allow the shed to remain 6.8 feet outside the town's pyramid regulation and any other relief necessary. The zoning district is B, residence AE flood zone, elevation 10, and the secret class is type 2. Member McGivern?
Yeah. The hearing on this was held November 29th. The survey that we had in front of us was by East End Land Surveying dated April 17th, 21. Jamie Sanchez is the agent for the applicant, and Rose Mellon also spoke at the hearing. This is a lot that is highly non-conforming and severely constrained. It's the smallest on the block in this area. It's 1/5 the size of a R20 zone, which is basically, it's a quarter of an acre. I walked the property. Almost every inch of it is covered with something. There's very little that is not covered. I understand their dilemma with the shed, but I'm inclined to tell them that to deny the variance request and to tell them to remove the shed and concrete pad to some other conforming location. The shed appears to have been constructed sometime after 2010 without the benefit of a variance. And the board, as noted in the TAM, was on record of having denied a shed on 24 Jacqueline Drive that was similarly about a half a foot from the property line. There was some discussion about possibly revegetating in places. It's not entirely clear to me where they would do that because so much of it is already covered or developed in some way. Don't have anything to add. That's it.
Approving it or denying?
No, I'm denying the shed variances in connection with the shed.
And what about the clearing?
The clearing, I'm not. They should revegetate where they've cleared for the shed and remove the concrete pad. But I'm not sure. I guess I'm interested in hearing from other people.
Okay.
It wasn't clear to me where there should be revegetation. If they were directed to raise the level of vegetation, where exactly they would do that.
Okay. Ed, you want to go?
Sure. I think that this was a case where perhaps we all did. I had sympathy for the applicant. They have a very small lot, as was pointed out by Member McGivern. It's extremely constrained. It's the smallest lot in the area. If you're to do anything on it at all, you pretty much are going to have problems because it's there's always going to be a setback issue. If there was a discussion of moving this shed to a place where it might conform, it would have been directly behind the house and up against the house. It was not something that the applicant was very interested in. Start with the shed. We had one, as was pointed out at the night of the hearing by planning, that was very similar, almost precisely the same, within, I think they said a half mile of this, was in the same neighborhood anyway. The shed was, this one here is a foot off of the property line, was about the same. And we ruled against it there for the very strong reason that this is in perpetuity. If we allow it, and the future neighbor who might not care at this point would care very much. And in general, we're very cautious about approving pyramid variances. And these here, the 6.8 feet, I think it was, is significant. And anytime a shed is put on a property line, of course, that's going to be a significant issue. There wasn't any room here for them to do much between the shed and the property line. There might be some other cases where we'd see a shed far enough away that we would discuss covenanting some sort of cover, but I just don't see that possible here. Now, what's unfortunate is that there really are not very many good alternatives. They can take that shed and slide it around and put it right behind the house, and they can have the shed possibly. But it's a tough location. So I'm going to have to deny the shed. And I think that unfortunately, when we look at the other several things, there was some discussion on behalf of the applicant about a gravel area that had been very wet. And so they decided they would put gravel over topsoil. And I think it was brought up at that point by my member Berger that, but it, it was an area that could have been planted. Why wasn't it planted? And of course, they did gravel because they're looking to, on this constrained lot, to be able to walk clearly around. So I'm leaning towards denying this entire application because I do think that in these sensitive areas, if we can plant them out and let them do what they can best do to help act to drain and act as a filter and not have hardened areas, I think we have to encourage that. And as empathetic as I could be to the client and their situation, I don't feel here this is one where I want to establish in my own mind any kind of precedent for allowing hardening of a sensitive area. So I'm going to deny this application.
Thank you. Terry?
Okay. Well, the shed is absolutely, and the concrete pad, I'm denying them, the variances are huge. There are other places that it can be put on the property. And I too am very sympathetic to this applicant. When we had the hearing, it sounds like they tried to plant things. And I also had visited the property, and there is stuff all over the place. And the way she explained it, they had tried to plant things and the deer came, and it was very shaded and wet area, which is all true. And you could see that when you walk the property, and it is very tiny. So I was very sympathetic about that. However, as far as the clearing, I think we should hold them to the revegetation. And going to Vice Chair Johann's statement, I think they can revegetate that area and that gravel area. Put some sort of grasses and other things that, might like water. But I think we should have them revegetate. I don't know how much area that encompasses there.
Well, that's what I was not
And
clear about.
then they have brick in the back. I mean, they have stuff all over the
Yeah.
place that's, impervious. So I don't know how much that encompasses. Can you tell us, Tyler? Can you figure out a number? If you take where the concrete pad is going over to the gravel area?
I mean, it seems like they should be able to work with the planning department to
So you wanna
figure
do,
out proper vegetation.
Like an area like
Plant.
this,
Yeah, coming down, yeah, where those go right over those pavers.
something like that,
Yeah. How much-
around 200 square feet.
That's all?
It's a tiny lot.
It's a tiny lot.
So 1,700, I don't think, I
It's a
don't know.
very
I mean,
small property.
Now, this is a real small one.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks small, but that's not much, but I guess it's something. I don't know. What disturbs me on this, and it's unfortunate, there's a history on this property. And even though it was prior to this owner, there was a ZBA decision back in 2005 about a deck on the south side. And it was denied. It was decking, and I guess there was confusion, but we have a survey going back to 2005 where the front portion of the deck on the east side of the property facing Treasure Island Drive was approved by that board, and the decking that was on the side, which went within 0.6 feet of the southern property line, had been denied. And on that determination, it also said the condition of approval was that the applicant should submit a new survey to be approved, showing the removal of the deck added to the southern sideline prior to the issuance of a C of O. And once again, somehow there was a C of O issued. That deck looks like it was never removed. And I don't know what we can do about that.
If it's C of O, I don't know if we have anything.
Well, this is such a problem all the time.
Mhm.
And once again, they bought the house. They should have known the history or known how it goes on. But as I said, I was very sympathetic to her testimony, and seeing the property. It sounded like everything they tried that didn't quite work was probably true. Was true. However, I have to deny the shed and if it's only 200 square feet, then I'd like that to be revegetated.
Okay, thank you. I'm not as sympathetic. I think constraints on a property are constraints on a property. I believe setbacks are setbacks on a property. And when you seek 100-foot setbacks, it's excessive, and it's 100% setback variance request. I mean, I get what you're saying though, and I understand, but still setback, there are reasons for this. I agree that this application should be denied. And I mean, I think we should take a moment and just go through the 5 or the variance discussion guys, and so that we can go through it. And does the benefit of the applicant from grant of the area variance outweigh any detriment which the grant of the variance will cause the general health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or the town as a whole? And I say no, it does not outweigh, especially with nearly 100% variance request that would be approved in perpetuity. Is a area variance to be granted the minimum variance necessary and adequate to alleviate the difficulty causing the applicant to request an area variance, while at the same time preserving and protecting the character of the neighborhood and the general health and safety of the welfare? And no, I think as stated by you all, there are alternative locations for the shed on the property. Has the applicant shown that the benefit accruing to him from grant of the requested variance outweighs any harm which will be caused to the neighborhood of the town? And again, no, I think there is harm, especially when you are granting variances in perpetuity. Will the grant of the variance cause an undesirable change in character in the neighborhood? Yes. Can the benefit sought by the applicant be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance? I don't know if, yes, I think he can, because I think the shed can be put
In
in
a
an area
conforming
where,
location.
in a conforming location.
Maybe.
Well, you can put it against the house. You can build one
And
against
they
the
have
house.
that deck that is still there.
Is the requested area variance substantial? Yes. Will the grant of the variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical environment conditions of the neighborhood?
Yes.
Yes. Is it difficulty causing the applicant request self-created? And that is also a yes. So I don't think it passes muster on the variance
On
standards.
the variance standards or the NRSP
Or the
standards.
NRSP. So I agree with the decision on denial of the application.
Okay, so then what about the re-veg? We're denying that and
Well, we're denying the entire application. I think it's up to the,
Right. So that's what
Okay.
I'm assuming, that every board member that's here tonight has denied the application in its entirety,
Yes.
correct?
that's correct.
Oh, well, I don't know. Joan?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Can we recommend that they speak to the planning department to get advice on vegetation? part of the decision?
Planning department said they're very busy. Which
I
they
think if they
are.
see a
Yeah.
denial,
So,
it
which
might
they are.
raise them to action,
Yeah.
I would think.
Denial, yeah, I don't know what happens. It just remains overcleared.
It may need
No,
to
they
go
have to
to,
clear, they have to fill in.
it may go to Natural Resources Department at that point
Yeah.
because it's a violation. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we have other decisions, and first one is Andrew Cohen at,
I love Shack. You wanna say it's
oh, I'm
canceled?
sorry, Love Shack is on this schedule. But because of member Savarese is not here, it's her case. She's requested that we put it off till our work session next week, and we're going to do that.
Okay, what else we got?
Other decisions is Andrew Cohen at 161 Marine Boulevard in Amagansett, Suffolk, tax map number 300-176-8-17. And that's to modify a February 26, 2020 determination to allow a reduction and reorientation of the entry stairway and add grade beams, breakaway walls, and utility platform and a raised beach walkway that terminates at grade with the remainder as a roll-up mat. Tyler can briefly go through it. I looked at this before, and because they're asking for more, or I mean, Morgan can, I think, I recommend that this go to a hearing.
Yeah.
They're asking for more?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Breakaway walls. Oh, okay.
So the more minor modifications include adding breakaway walls and utility platform, which are both, compliant with FEMA regulations. So that's not necessarily a huge issue. They also want to modify the front entry stairway. They're basically reducing it and reorienting it. Again, kind of a minimal modification. There's modifications that definitely will require some more thought. So the determination denied a constructed stairway, which is what's shown on the approved survey. From what I could find, there was no survey showing the rollout mat, which was approved in the determination, 150-foot rollout mat. So this modification survey is the first one, including a roll-up mat with it. And it's an 80-foot roll-up mat. And then there's a 27-foot bridge extending to like the dune. And then it terminates at grade with the dune. So, I discussed it with Brian Frank, and he said it is a possibility that they can make a stairway that's parallel to the house instead of the bridge. So it's kind of up to the board to decide how far they want a structure to extend to the dune.
Plus, they were requesting more clearing, was that right?
Yeah, and that was another bullet point that I
Yeah.
have.
So I,
So in addition to the structural modifications, they are proposing 9,965 square foot of clearing, which is 3,292 square feet more than what was approved in 2020.
Yep.
The parcel allows for a maximum of 13,399 square feet.
Why do they want it?
They didn't really give a reason. And I was looking at the determination before.
that's why I think it has to go to here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it says, one of the conditions in the determination was that the clearing of vegetation and grading should be strictly limited to a boundary established by the board and elevations depicted on the approved survey. Which brings up another point. It's not shown on the survey, but when I was looking at the site plans, I did see some grading and retaining walls included in the site plans that I didn't see on the survey. So it wasn't included in the original site plans. There was, in the original sanitary plans, they showed some grading, but no retaining wall.
Well, you convinced me.
Yeah, I don't think this is a de minimis
No.
Yeah.
request,
Stuff, a lot
so.
of Stuff. I think we should have a hearing.
Do we need a motion for this, or is it just go to hearing?
I would just make a motion to put it on for
Okay.
hearing.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to make a motion, Joan?
Yeah, in the matter of Andrew Cohen, 161 Marine Boulevard, Amagansett, Suffolk County, tax map number 300-176-08-17. I make a motion to direct the applicant to file for a hearing,
File a new application.
file a new application in order to have a hearing on their
File a new
request.
Application.
I
Modification.
think it's a hearing for a modification.
Modification.
Okay.
Have a second.
I'll second it, sorry.
I concur.
I concur as well. Thank you. Next, we have Matthew Gazowski at 12 Gainsborough Court in Montauk, Suffolk, tax map number 300-19-4-23. And that's a request to leave the written record open until January 31st, 2023. Now, council, this is where we had a request from opposing counsel to maintain their 2-week additional. So
Well, that's included in.
was that
January
included in the
31st.
January
It has to just
23rd?
go to January.
Fine.
31st.
It's included
Okay.
already. Had the,
Wanna
yeah, the
make a motion?
letters, yeah. For the application of Matthew Gazowski at 12 Gainsborough Court, Montauk, tax map 300-019-04-23. I make a motion to leave the written record open until January 31st.
Second. I'm sorry.
Concur.
And I concur as well. Thank you.
It didn't close, right? They put in, that's right, they asked
That's
for
what I
the
was wondering,
extension
but-
before it closed.
Okay.
They sent the letter December 29th. Yeah,
All right.
okay.
So next we go to minutes approval. We have the amended draft minutes of December 6th, 2022.
Yes, on December 6th, we had to make a change, so I just make a motion to approve the amended, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so for the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals, I make a motion to approve the amended minutes for December 6th, 2022.
I'll second it.
Concur.
I concur as well. Then we have the minutes of December 20th.
And I make for the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals. I make a motion to approve the draft minutes for December 20th, 2022.
I'll second that.
Concur.
Concur as well. Thank you. Next, move on to resolutions. We have Capkey Dolphin Partners LLC, 16 Dolphin Drive in Amagansett, Suffolk tax map number 300-131-5-11. Council?
This application was to demolish all the existing structures, to construct a new approximate 2,100 square foot two-story residence outside of the town's pyramid regulations, with a second story, roof decking, walkways, new pervious driveway, AC units and utilities, a new IA sanitary system, and to clear approximately 936 square foot of vegetation on the parcel. A natural resource special permit was required, including 2 variances in order to complete the project. The board found that specifically that the decreases in both the proposed size of the project and the clearing required to complete the project removed a lot of the board's concerns for disturbance of the lot. The property will now be in compliance with FEMA regulations, and the non-conforming structures will be reduced by approximately half. The board further found that after reviewing a letter, there was approximately 20 supporters of the application. As such, the board finds that the project will not interfere with the enjoyment of neighboring parcels and can speculate. And further, the one negative letter was a pure speculation as to what the use of the property would be. Overall, the project appears to be an improvement to the existing conditions of the property. The applicants are proposing a complete redevelopment of very non-conforming parcel and are proposing to reduce many of the current non-conformities. As such, the board all agreed and to approve the application as is.
Thank you.
Hey, Joan.
Joan?
In the matter of Capkey Dolphin Partners LLC, 16 Dolphin Drive, Amagansett, Suffolk County tax map number 300-131-05-11. I make a motion to adopt the resolution as written.
I'll second it.
I concur.
I concur as well. Thank you. Next, we have Jeffrey Feldkamp at 11 Bayberry Lane, Amagansett, Suffolk tax map number 300-176-1-4.
This application was to reconstruct and modify approximately 1,250 square foot existing decking and to allow the pool equipment to remain within the rear yard line setbacks. In order to do this, they needed a natural resource special permit as well as 2 variances. On a whole, the project for the pool decking was very similar to what already existed on the project, and there was a minimum impact, if any, to the property. The relocation of the pool equipment will have no effect on the property as considered minimal. The new location of the pool equipment is further away from the neighbors, reduces the amount of sounds emanated from the equipment, and decreases the risk of children jumping off of the equipment. In addition, The relocation of the equipment serves to decrease the noise emitted to the neighbor's property, and although there may be more conforming locations, the current relocation has minimal impact on the property. As such, there was 3 board members that approved the application in whole, with 2 board members dissenting on the pool decking and, on the pool equipment only. So it was an approval.
Thank you. Joe?
In the matter of Jeffrey Feldkamp, 11 Bayberry Lane, Amagansett, Suffolk County, tax map number 300-176-01-04, I make a motion to adopt the resolution as written.
Second.
I'll concur.
I concur as well. Next, we have Seaman and Apria at 170 Old Montauk in Montauk, Suffolk tax map number 300-22-1-12.4.
This was actually a request for modification that occurred a significant time ago. However, for some reason, the resolution wasn't written at the time. So the modifications were approved in order to move the septic system to meet the Suffolk County Department of Health standards. They needed a variance in order to do that. Well, all we did here was switch the surveys, the construction plan and the approved septic plan in order to comply and get this into a writing form, because this was approved by all members.
I think you're done.
Yep.
Okay, so for Seaman and Apria at 170 Old Montauk Highway, Montauk, Suffolk County tax map 300-022-01-12.4. I make a motion to approve the modification, right? It's a modification
It is a
as
modification.
written.
I'll second it.
Concur.
I concur as well. Thank you. Next, we have Peter Ferrandino at 73 Surfside Avenue in Montauk, Suffolk tax map number 300-51-2-10.
This was an appeal of the determination of the principal building inspector. All board members in this case agreed with the building inspector's issuance of the building permit and their determination on the premises. The bigger issues being that the property owner maintains that the subject parcel complies with both height and pyramid laws and that the residence is more conforming presently than in the past. The elevation of the subject addition's flat roof structure of 80 feet above the mean sea level is fully compliant with the town code, as there is a glass railing enclosing the rooftop deck. And with regard to the allegations that the natural grade had been altered on the subject premises with the placement of fill, the town investigated and documented those claims and found that the property is in compliance. The principal building inspector stated during the public hearing that upon her own observation, there was no grade change to the parcel. Therefore, the determination by the building department inspector was upheld.
Thank you.
Do it? Okay. Then in the case of Peter Ferrandino, 73 Surfside Avenue, Montauk, Suffolk County tax map 300-051-02-10. I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to accept the determination as written.
Second.
Concur.
I concur as well. Thank you. That brings us to conclusion. Vice Chair.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to close the East Hampton Town Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for January 10th, 2023 at 9:07 PM.
Second.
Concur.
Sure.